have yet to meet one person that's used Botox or fillers for over 10 years and has not regretted it. I will remind you, you have the one face, you want to have it looking great for the rest of your life. It's not about immediate gratification and inflating that skin just this moment so we can look good for the next maybe few weeks or few months and then pay the price much later with lumps and bumps and health issues. But first, a quick introduction. My name is Nadia, founder of Functional Beauty Principles. They're based on functional medicine. I look at the root causes and I come with 28 years experience in the beauty industry, specializing in sensitive skin. Let's start real quick with why you might want to rethink Botox and fillers, and then we'll get to root causes of aging so we understand how to not age as fast as everybody else around us, and also how to reverse it. You owe it to your future self to look and feel your best for as long as possible. Dermatological procedures like Botox and fillers seem like the quick way to that rejuvenated look, but they come with a very hefty price, often at the cost of your overall health and eventually how your face ages. So Botox does not affect your skin in any way. It paralyzes the muscle, minimizing your capacity to have expression lines. What's important to understand with Botox is that our systems are all connected. So our bones are connected to the muscle. Once you freeze that muscle, the bone starts experiencing rapid loss, which should be extremely alarming because the bone is the foundation that our muscle, fat pads, and skin sit on. And so you can be inflating your skin all you want with, injections and with Botox, but if you're losing that bone, that's really dangerous for your health long term, but also you're losing that foundation that the skin sits on. You're gonna end up sagging anyways. Also, hindering the ability of the muscle to move, it weakens it. So those signals that we often send to the brain every single time that we're making a facial expression, they weaken. And so at some point, a lot of people start experiencing facial sagging. This is very common. I've heard this over and over in my comment sections where people get forehead Botox and then they start experiencing droopiness of the eyelids because those muscles on the forehead are the ones that are responsible for lifting up your eyebrows. But these are just few of those side effects. I have videos that are dedicated to all of the long list of side effects of Botox. Let's get right into what causes us to age so we can learn about how to prevent that aging in the first place and then how to reverse it. So the first principle to understand is that aging is more than just wrinkles. It happens very deep in the body. So we have to understand the function of the body. We have to understand biology. And I want you to just pause and think how many 60, 70, 80-year-olds maybe a celebrity that's gotten facelifts that looks really tight, does not have a single wrinkle, and yet they still look their age, just tighter. Aging is a complex process involving collagen breakdown, muscle atrophy, reduction of elastin, and even bone loss. Over time, these changes lead to the sagging, the wrinkles, and dullness that we associate with aging skin. Environmental factors like sun damage, oxidative stress, and diet play a huge role in accelerating this process. So dermatological treatments might address a symptom or two, but they don't deal with the underlying factors that contribute to aging. So here are the big ones. The first one is sun exposure. We need the sun. So in the beauty industry, I feel vilified the sun so much that a lot of us ended up with worse issues. A lot of us have vitamin D deficiencies that cause a lot of autoimmune diseases and issues. So we need the sun, but we need a sun exposure responsibly. That means you consume antioxidants, you consume foods that build up your internal sunscreen. Actually, lycopene can build up your internal sunscreen up to 40%. You want to use a topical antioxidant like vitamin C. You want to make sure that your skin is very well hydrated prior to sun exposure. And also you want to use a great mineral zinc sunscreen that's preferably tinted. That's how you get that really good sun protection. This is great for the face. You can still, and I do this, leave the body without any sunscreen so that you have exposed areas that absorb that vitamin D that's very necessary. And then make sure you're not taking a shower right after your sun exposure, because that vitamin D needs time to synthesize. And so it's about smart sun exposure versus just overdoing it or avoiding it all at once. It's all about balance. So when it comes to face protection, apply that sunscreen generously. Repeat application throughout the day if in direct sun exposure, and choose the right sunscreen. And the best one, hands down, is a non-nano mineral tinted sunscreen. I have great options on my website if you're interested in one. Second aging and wrinkle accelerator is going to have to be sugar. So, and it's not just simple sugars that you add to your tea or coffee, it is carbohydrates in general. So anything that's perceived by your body as sugar, and so that's your rice and breads and croissants, cakes, all that type of stuff. You really want to keep those under control. You want to increase your protein intake. You want to consume collagen. So anything that's going to add to that muscle building, but reduce that glycation. And why we need to build muscle. Muscle is where you store energy. So you actually can metabolize sugar much faster. You have less insulin spikes when you have more muscle. So bottom line, build your muscle by consuming high quality protein and obviously resistance training, and reduce anything that breaks down your collagen and elastin, which is sugar. If you consume high amounts of sugar, what's happening is that you're promoting insulin resistance. So there's a lot of sugar that's really not going into your cells. It's free flowing in your bloodstream, and it's, wreaking havoc on your system. And part of that damage happens within the skin because it starts attaching to our proteins, and our proteins are collagen and elastin, and it stiffens, it makes them really stiff and hard, and they just break down and you get a lot of sat gain. And that's a process that happens over time. You can reverse a lot of that by just adopting a diet that's very low on carbohydrates and high on good fats and protein. And why I mention fats? Fats are your internal moisturizer. They're your lubricant. If the skin is brittle, you don't have that elasticity. So really important to moisturize that skin from the inside out to maintain that elastin. Third culprit in rapid aging is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress occurs when there is an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. This damage leads to premature aging, inflammation, and various skin issues, including hyperpigmentation. Antioxidants, on the other hand, protect your skin from free radical damage and slow down that aging. When free radicals overwhelm antioxidants, oxidative stress happens. So what do we need to do? We need to ensure that our antioxidant reserves are pretty high, and that can be done internally and externally. Oxidative damage often impairs the delicate lipid barrier, leading to further aging, sensitivity, and your skin becomes much thinner, experiences more water loss, which leads to fine lines and wrinkles. How do we boost our antioxidant intake? First, through diet. And so you want to incorporate antioxidant-rich foods like berries, leafy greens, nuts, and even dark chocolate. Vitamins A, C, and E, along with polyphenols found in plant-based foods, are essential for fighting oxidative stress internally. Now, topically, you want to always use really high quality, clean skincare with vitamin C. And I'm not talking about L-ascorbic acid because this is what's found in most vitamin C products. I'm talking about non-sensitizing, fat-soluble vitamin C serums and creams. Also things with vitamin E or oils in general, non-sensitizing oils. So we don't want essential oils. We rather want plant oils like rosehip oil, jojoba oil. We want to use resveratrol topically as well as internally. Green tea extract is phenomenal as a de-aging ingredient, as well as even in your skin tone, reducing hyperpigmentation. It pretty much helps with all signs of aging the same way vitamin C does. There are other things like CoQ10, but these ingredients will help neutralize free radicals on the skin as well as repair oxidative damage. Other ways to reduce your oxidative damage is to ensure you get really good sleep, as well as clean up the environment in your home. So using air filters, incorporating plants in your space, all of those will minimize your exposure to pollutants and oxidants that lead to oxidative damage. The fourth culprit that leads to rapid aging is stress and lack of sleep. Those go hand in hand, because if you are stressed, you're not sleeping well. I'm very guilty of that. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body produces more cortisol and stress hormone. Elevated cortisol levels break down collagen and elastin. Those are the two proteins responsible for keeping your skin firm and elastic. As these proteins degrade, wrinkles and sagging become more pronounced. Sleep deprivation hinders skin repair. Sleep is when your body enters into repair mode. During deep sleep, your skin regenerates, producing new collagen and allowing cells to repair themselves. Without adequate sleep, the skin's natural healing process is disrupted, leading to a dull, tired complexion, slower wound healing, and more visible signs of aging. You can be doing all the Botox in the world and all of the fillers, but if you're not getting good sleep, there is that consistent inflammation that's happening within your body, and that accelerated DNA damage that just wreaks havoc on all of your tissues and speeds up aging from the inside out, leading to a major loss of skin elasticity. Not to mention hormonal imbalances, which can lead to acne or dryness and all kinds of skin issues. So it's all really connected. Enough about causes, let's get to solutions and then how I specifically reversed aging. So obviously you want to counteract all of the things that I mentioned before. You want to optimize your sunscreen game. You want to have a diet that's really high in antioxidants, good fats, protein, collagen, bone broth, vitamin C. So take great supplements, as well as ensure your plate is colorful and always has a good amount of protein on it. Hydrate every day. Most people are dehydrated, and so when you're dehydrated, that circulation is sluggish, your repair mechanisms are impaired, your skin starts getting dull because it's not getting that nutrient delivery that it needs. So hydration is integral to a good anti-aging diet. Those are the general basics. Let's get to the specifics. So I'm 47 now, but I experienced a rapid decline in skin elasticity around age 43, 44. Didn't really notice it until I started looking back at my old videos, and so I posted about that. You can look at a blog on my website where I kind of document this whole process. There are two phases in life where all of us experience really rapid aging, and that's around age 44 and around age 60. And man, I've seen it around age 44. Didn't even notice it myself because I was too busy dealing with a divorce and lots of issues, starting a new company. There was just a lot of chaos going on in my life, and it happened to be around that age 44. I go visit my sister who hadn't seen me in a few years, and she just said, "What the hell happened to you? You look old." And so that was a wake-up call. And so I dug really deep and started doing the research. How do I start reversing this damage? Did not like the look of my neck at the time. Obviously, the damage was happening all over the body, but the neck is a special area that can show fast aging pretty significantly because it doesn't have anything to hold it up. Our cheeks, our nose, they have the bone that's holding them up, but the neck has nothing. It really tends to sag first. So the first method that I applied was red light therapy. I am a huge fan. All of the clients I've had over the years since I discovered red light therapy, I've recommended that to them and they've seen incredible results. And so I really believe that's probably about 50% of what really got me to my goal. And within 2 months, that sagging disappeared and it has not returned. Obviously, Aging is a dynamic process. We're aging every single day. And so if I go a few weeks without using it, I start feeling it. I see that loss of elasticity happening. And so it's really important to maintain that light therapy treatment. Experimenting with so many red light therapy devices, and all my recommendations are posted in my blogs. I'll post them here as well. The second strategy that I adopted was to optimize my diet. At the time, I was suffering from hypoglycemia, and my doctors did not understand why that was, because I was not diabetic, but I would just faint. My blood sugar would just drop. And I came to find out, I solved it on my own, came to find out that it was just really high stress that hindered the way that my body was processing sugars. And so I had to minimize my stress while optimizing my diet. And the way that I did that was cut out carbs, because carbs increase that insulin response, which is a major stressor for the body. And so once I started planning every single meal around protein, my hypoglycemia disappeared. My stress was still there, the mental stress, but the stress on the body that's usually a response to food, that disappeared. Really minimizing snacking, having 2 or 3 well-planned meals per day that had maybe a salad, cruciferous veggies, definitely a good amount of protein and high fats. So olive oil, salmon, sardines, avocados. So just kept it really clean, really healthy, no processed foods and no added sugars, very low carbs. That made a huge impact. And I can tell you, I probably saw it within 2 to 3 weeks. It was pretty quick. Just start seeing that the dullness is going away. The skin starts kind of retracting a bit, feeling a little bit more firm, because nothing makes your skin more sagging than sugar and then glycation. And I'm sure a lot of people will just kind of raise their brows at this and go, oh, you can't see that much of an impact. Yes, you can. Think about just one night. So just think about one night when you went out and partied, had a lot of alcohol, or had a meal that's really high in MSG. Think about how you wake up the next day. And we call it not getting the beauty sleep. If you wake up with puffy eyes, dark circles, your skin just looks really dull. So changes can be very rapid in the skin, whether they're positive or negative ones. And I see it in myself so much because I'm always juggling a lot of things. And, my life looks very different from one day to the other. So one day I'm able to get good sleep, and then one day I'll function on literally nothing. And I go and push myself and create these videos. And so my videos are truly my documentation of all those days. I look at one and I'm like, I know that that's a day where I got good sleep and ate well and took care of myself. And that's a day where I was really stressed and kind of let go of a lot of things. And feel free to scroll through my videos and see how different my face looks. And that's a testimonial to how, just our lifestyle impacts how we look. And I think we get sensitive to it when we're in our 40s, because we're already dealing with hormonal changes and such. And so our bodies are so much more responsive to our lifestyle habits. So you might not notice those fluctuations and those massive changes in your appearance in your 20s and early 30s, but if you pay attention, you'll be able to notice them later on, late 30s and on. And the last step to reversing wrinkles and sagging in 2 months was when I developed the TBD method of application. So TBD just stands for the Beauty Doctrine. And so that's me just really sitting down and really thinking hard about what are the areas or the times in my life when I had great skin and the times when I didn't, and what are the products that worked and products that didn't. And I've experimented, obviously, over 28 years now in the beauty industry. I've experimented with a ton of different products, and the routine that worked the best for me is when I used layers of very lightweight products, so basically serums and mists versus like a moisturizer. So at the time when I was experiencing this sagging, again, my lifestyle was just really hectic. I was not taking the time with layering, so I was just using a moisturizer. I was thinking, okay, I'm using my sunscreen every day when I step outside, then that's enough. And obviously that was not enough. So for me to see that reversal, I had to create a routine that ensured, first of all, I had all of the actives that the skin needs to stay plump, hydrated, and firm, as well as the routine needed to penetrate into the skin, needed to have that maximal absorption versus just having a moisturizer that generally sits on the surface of the skin. And so that's when I developed the TBD method, which is obviously just going really gentle also. So I was very selective with what ingredients. That's something I've been selective with for a long time. But the method was misting a mineral mist first, because minerals truly help the skin. They're going to help with collagen synthesis. You're not able to even make collagen. You can be consuming it all day, but you can't synthesize it into new collagen if you don't have your minerals, especially copper, and if you don't have vitamins like vitamin C. So I was paying attention to these granular factors, and that really helped me. All right, so let's go straight into the TBD method. Number one is going to be your mineral mist. Number two is a water-based serum that's going to focus on hydration and plumpness. And so that meant it should have a humectant like hyaluronic acid. And then the third layer, and that needs to be applied pretty quickly following your water-based serum, is an oil-based serum. Barrier repair is phenomenal. You cannot do better because it's very, very well designed with jojoba oil, rosehip oil, and hemp seed oil. They each play a very important role. Jojoba is the most compatible with our skin because it's very high in ceramides, so that kind of strengthens that lipid barrier, which will strengthen our skin defenses. Rosehip oil is basically your natural retinol, and vitamin C naturally has those ingredients, so it's not going to sensitize the skin, but it's still going to deliver those very, very powerful and necessary antioxidants. And then the third oil, which is hemp seed, is one of two oils on the planet that has amino acids, and amino acids are basically peptides. They're the building blocks of collagen. And so it was a really well designed oil that I would apply third. So it's an oil serum. So again, to recap, mineral mist, water-based serum, oil-based serum, and then a sunscreen. So I kept it really simple, but very targeted. All of those layers were very light. They were going into the skin. The one thing that was not light and was not going to the skin, it's not supposed to, it's sunscreen. And so using sunscreen last, closest to the sun, and it needs to be more emollient, more moisturizing, and kind of high molecular weight. So it's more of like a nano zinc sunscreen, and I used it with a tint because I knew I'm sitting in front of my screens all day, and screens, overhead lights, all these things that we surround ourselves with, they contribute to aging our skin. And so that just the tint, just that added ingredient, which is iron oxide in a mineral sunscreen, can have that additional protective function. So again, it's really just about not too many ingredients or too many products. It's still 4 products outside of cleansing, but they're very targeted and very well designed. And that is the TBD method. So it covers the basics. You can, of course, build from there. You can still, use more serums if you want. You can still use a moisturizer if you like that texture. Obviously, you can optimize with eye creams, masks, and all kinds of other things. But if you get this core method right, you are well on your way to start reversing those wrinkles. And the last thing I would say that truly helped me reduce wrinkles, increase that collagen and elastin in the skin, increase firmness, is massage. I've always been one to tap. So whenever I applied my skincare, even in my 20s and 30s, especially eye cream, I always tapped, which I've come to find out later that that's really, really helpful because it helps increase blood flow to the surface. It helps depuff. It helps with lymphatic drainage. But didn't really know about gua sha or actual, massage. So I took a lot of time to research all of that and started doing daily massages, whether it's with fingers or gua sha, really kind of starting with the neck and being really methodical. And that made a really big difference in ensuring that the skin looked tighter, firmer, there's no fluid retention. And of course, went back to yoga, which I love. And that helped, and still always feels like it's really helping lengthen all of these muscles, around the chest, the back, and the neck area, which are integral. It is crucial to pay attention to our muscles because tight muscles pull down on the skin, and that's how we get that saggy neck. Yoga, in my experience, has been so helpful, just really kind of lengthening all of the muscles around the chest area, the back, the neck. So you're always stretching, obviously, if you even dedicate 5 minutes every single day. Let's say you don't do yoga, which I recommend you do if you can, but if you don't, taking 5 minutes a day to lengthen the neck muscles would be a great help in preventing that sagging of the neck, because again, those neck muscles, when they get tight, especially with many of us now just looking down at our devices, these shorten. So you want to counteract that. So I'll do a quick move here. So you can just hold that skin in place and then literally just go all the way back. So you can do this for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute. So that's a great way to lengthen these muscles in the front. Another way, the other muscle that you want to focus on is the one that goes from this point to this point. So you can do that just by relaxing your shoulders and then just stretching, just letting your head drop to one side, and you can look down and then you bring your head back up and back to original position, and then you do it on the other side. Obviously, I'm just doing the short version here, but you can do this for much longer. So just these very, very basic moves can be extremely helpful. But again, if you can dedicate the time to doing yoga, that's going to be helpful for your entire body, which will benefit your face. Longer and more resilient muscles contribute to stronger bones and to tighter and firmer skin. We're always sending those signals to the skin to produce more collagen and to be firmer, and you're building that foundation, solid foundation for your skin to sit on. Very often we focus on the face alone, but the body is aging while we're not paying attention. I truly hope that this video brought you some value. If you like my content, please subscribe and like this video and share it with somebody you care about. And I hope to see you next time. Until then, be well, be safe, be beautiful. Take care.